know, but they're a bit like Chelsea on Saturday. This lot, they're a bit leggy and sloppy for the first bit, but they've woken up. I'm glad to see that they have.
Gaffer turned up.
That's Gaffer. That's why he is the Gaffer. That's why he is the Gaffer. Now, I'm sorry, I should tell you who we are. I am Stanford Chidge, and this is the Chelsea Football FanCast.
That's who you are. It's not who we are.
Well, okay, Dazza, Jonathan, Pablo, the benches. We all know.
Name the benches.
Right. I think, I could, but I'm not going to. I'll do it later. The bottom line is we should talk about this fantastic new striker that Chelsea have signed in time Saturday. The German Zoll. Zoll. We should talk about Schurrle.
Was it because he was playing centrally in the same way that...
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Look at that. I like that. It's a good celebration.
It's a good celebration.
No one joined them for ages.
Walcott's quite a good comparison.
Exactly. Thank you very much. He got ignored by Chidge there. He was rather more interested in just looking at the picture.
I love him. I love his big quiff.
Yeah, it's a great quiff.
I'll show you more about that later.
Hazard loved it when he was rubbing it when he picked him up.
They all like it.
Quiff.
They get static and then they can just...
Did the quiff go stiff? They do when you rub them.
Did the squiff get a Rabona?
They might have done.
Yeah.
I can see where this is going. Down the Kazi, mate. Let's avoid it.
Yeah, no, I wondered with the fact that he was playing more in the centre, and if he comes in from the right, he's actually having the same... Well, it's the same problem that Sturridge had.
Do you know what? I mean, you know, we'll get onto this later, but apparently Jose didn't actually do anything at half-time. So whatever they did in the second half, one has to assume, therefore, they did themselves. I mean, Liam really does... I mean, I'm not joking. Liam Hawkes, he really does understand the game technically and tactically in a way that I... never could be bothered to, really.
And
he said that.
What exactly happened?
Well, that's what he said. He said it was Oscar dropping back. He was...
I mean, Schurrle didn't move central nominally. He was just making more diagonal
moves across,
rather than straight runs down the line. It made a big difference.
But were Fulham playing with quite a high line, or was their defence just absolute cobblers?
It backed off, and there was a big gap between the midfield and the defence.
Because that really helped.
And I mean, they're not quick. None of them are quick.
No, and you did say that Parker and Sidwell just were absolutely off the pace second half. I mean, whatever way, and we are, whatever way we look at why it happened. I mean, I think we've got to recognise that was a superb hat trick. You know, great finishing.
The third goal.
Great finishing.
It was. It was so composed.
Cold, wasn't it? Stone Cold Andre Schurrle, they'll be calling him somewhere.
I don't think
on the WWF circuit, maybe.
It's the kind of thing.
We've got a resident WWF. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, isn't it?
Yeah. You can have the 316 thing, Schurrle 316.
Random fact for you, Darren. I have met and worked with Kurt Angle. And on a TV show that I produce, this is absolutely true, kids, if you're watching at home, I had Kurt Angle, world champion?
He used to be at TNA now.
Yeah, OK, TNA means something else in my language. But anyway, Kurt Angle was on a show that I made for Nuts TV, and he dropped his trousers on live TV. That's the kind of guy he is.
Was
Legend.
he wearing underpants?
He was, but then he put his butt into the presenter's face. Why, I don't know. I think he wanted him to kiss it.
Perhaps that's a wrestling thing.
That's the kind of weird randomness you get on the Chelsea Football FanCast. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, talking of weird randomness, I got something that's even weirder and even more randomer, which I'm going to move along. This is going to confuse the gallery, because I just want to talk about this now. A lot of this was going around. I'm very upset with this. The Penfold thing I thought of as the game started, and because I wanted to save it for the show, all the others have figured it out, but I was there first, honest. And I was also first with this. No, actually, I wasn't. 10th of March 1905 was the first to discover that Andre Schurrle looks mysteriously like another cartoon character. There we go. Look at that. He is, in fact, Johnny Bravo. What do you reckon of that, people? Nice one, Chad Meister. I like that. What do you think? He is Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah, he is. I think I might actually have to get my quiff back. I think the quiff could come back in fashion. What do you think?
Do you have enough hair to have a quiff?
I have plenty. I have so much hair, Jonathan. I could lend you some.
I'd like some.
And still have lots of hair.
Yeah, because I can't make a quiff.
You know?
No, it won't ever grow back that big.
I could lend you half of my hair and still have twice as much as you, and I could lend Andy some too and still have a fine head of hair. Okay. That's how much hair I've got.
Is that a testosterone thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm getting a bit of a Rabona, actually. I think I'm about to shut up. Talking of Rabonas, I mean, whilst we all must applaud and laud and be absolutely delighted with the scoring technique of Andre Schurrle, I wouldn't happen without Hazard. I mean, Hazard was making those runs, and I mean, that pass for his second goal... Yeah. Was it his second?
Yeah.
It was beautifully laid
Second-
on,
I
wasn't
mean,
it? Yeah.
the
But
fact-
he was given the entire pitch
He
to
was, though,
decide
wasn't he? I know.
how and when he was going to do
But
it.
he
I mean,
checked,
he
he
was-
waited.
It was
he did the
superb.
same
It
for the
was-
first one. He actually, the ball he lofted onto Schurrle's head, he saw that, Chicken Nando was like offside, so he waited until he got. I mean, the man is a genius.
Schurrle's run for the second goal.
Yeah,
was
totally.
fantastic.
Wasn't it?
The
Running
point
along
is, we've been saying about Hazard not playing as well in the last few weeks, and that's because he's been marked out of games. And the first time he's been given any space, he's shown them exactly why you can't give him space, because he's run the game.
I think also with that...
We
it's,
said that last
yeah.
week about having two on him and stuff, didn't we, Daz?
Normally when Hazard's looking forwards, you've got Torres who normally has got people around him and doesn't move around that much. Schurrle was actually freeing up some space. I mean, that second goal, and the defender just watched him run across him to get the ball and slot it in. We normally, when you see someone out wide, there's no one that's an option. No one's free. No one's doing anything with our strikers.
Going back to what Jonathan was saying, actually, I know I belittled him, but it was an excellent
always,
point.
Chief.
I know, but
As
it was an
always.
excellent point, actually, because... a lot of people are saying, well, should he be the striker or should he not be the striker? Have we found somebody who could... I would say I would agree with Mourinho and say no. Schurrle is the player that he is. He is basically a wide player, but I do like this idea that he can float around and he can make those kind of runs, because actually, if you allow him to do that, they're more likely going to have their eyes on the number 9. He'll find space, and if he can finish like that, that's the Walcott comparison, and I think you've got a point there,
But
mate.
it's the first time he's come good.
I don't know. He had a good game against Stoke, mate. He could have had a hat-trick against Stoke.
It's the first time
Well,
he's...
it's the first time he's been given a start, isn't it, this year? Is it the
Second
second
time he hasn't
time?
been wasteful, put it that way.
Yeah,
Last weekend.
and it's fair to say it's the first time he's put in a truly match-winning performance, but he's been decent. It's just that Williams' form picked up a lot and he's kind of stagnated for a couple of months. But
I don't know, I was quite critical last week on the FanCast. I didn't think he was good against Everton.
I thought you were a pussycat.
He was very
I really
wasteful.
do.
I agree with
You were
Western.
fluffy
No,
as a
for-
fluffy
for
person.
me, that was
You weren't
easy.
critical. Yeah, you were very well behaved.
yeah, I mean, you can't knock
They're
them
ignoring
down.
us. They don't.
I didn't-
Just because I have this
No, no.
Darren love now and again.
We're trying to have a football
I know.
chat.
I just
that was
I'm going to give you a
okay
big
with
kiss,
everybody
Darren.
here, but
There you go. So he doesn't
Sorry,
be back.
did we miss
No,
anything?
not at all. Actually, I'm going to talk. I'm
we
going
were
to talk to
talking
the
to the
benches.
camera
It's the
about,
Rabona
about the
business,
football.
mate. It's got me all excited. I'm going to talk to the benches because I want to know what they think about Schurrle. I mean, is he? Do you think we could play him as a striker, or is that going up the wrong alley?
Well, I posed a question on Mixler saying, should Schurrle be a third choice striker? Built Up and Broke Down said third, he should be our first choice.
Good man.
Shane Chelsea says no, he wouldn't have the same impact and get the freedom with the two centre halves occupying him. Blue Funk said he'd rather have Branner as a striker than Schurrle.
No shouts for Louise. I'm disappointed with that.
Out of interest, I mean, a lot of it naturally comes from strikers not scoring this season, so when somebody does, we jump on it. But there was no clamour for Hazard to start playing up front.
No,
when
there
he got
wasn't.
through, was
Well,
there?
Hazard's such an out-and-out creative player, and he doesn't kind of look like a striker. Look, we're talking about this scoring. I've got something to show you. You're going to like this.
Okay.
Because it made me think, we've now got a winger who scored a hat-trick, which is interesting in itself. We've had a midfielder that scored a hat-trick. Shall we have a look at Chelsea's scorers? This is a bit like Jackanory, isn't it, or Blue Peter. Shall we have a look, Jonathan, at all of Chelsea's scorers this season?
Have you got one you made earlier?
I have, there you go. Actually, Greg made it, but it'll do. This is in all competitions, by the way. Our top scorers are as follows. I've basically gone down as far as Barr, because he is a striker, and I felt a bit sad if we left him off. But Hazard is top scorer at 13, Oscar has 9, Eto'o has 8, Torres has 8, Lampard has 7, Schurrle has 6, Ramirez has 4, and Barr has 3. I think that's actually quite interesting reading. Because apart from anything else, can we have another look at it, actually? Because I quite like it. There you go. What it tells me is that our goals are coming from all over the park, really.
Yeah.
The defence have actually chipped in with the odd two or three, but they're not on the list. But Ivanovic has 3, for example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, scoring goals hasn't been as big a problem as people have tried to make out this year. It's just we haven't had an out-and-out goal scorer as the table shows.
But if you add up Torres and Eto'o, that's 16 goals, which at this time of the season for one striker would be quite a decent return.
I think, though, it's the killing the games off, which is what Jose said, which is the problem. Which, if we had a striker who was more what's the word? More on the ball.
Well, effective, basically.
Effective, yeah.
But I mean, that just shows you that stats never tell you the whole story. Isn't that right, Chelsea Chatter? Stats can lie, can't they? What do you think of those, mate? What do you think of those top scorers? Is that an interesting thing?
Yeah, I like Greg's. He's got Torres with 8. I actually think Torres has got 9 this season, but I do like that all the goals are shared around.
I got that off the BBC blooming website.
Okay.
What was the 9th? The Super Cup?
Could well be, yeah.
Well, they probably, okay. So when I said all competitions, I meant all competitions apart from the Super Cup.
The Super Cup.
So yeah, no, it's good that we're scoring goals.
Never
everywhere.
argue with a statmeister, ever. Look, we kind of mentioned Eden Hazard, and the one thing that I would like to talk about really about Eden is, you know, irrespective of the arguments that we were talking about space, lack of it or not. That player is so much more effective, as are a lot of Chelsea's players, when they actually run at a defence. I mean, even Rubberman, Ramirez, you know, if he decides to like not fall over or try and pass it to the opposition, if Ramirez just kind of like ran with the ball at the defence, even Ramirez puts the fear of God into them, and they end up having to foul him and we get a free kick.
Or he falls over somebody's leg and gets a free kick. Yeah,
you know,
as Suarez did at the weekend.
If I was the manager, I'd be saying, hey, Ramirez, just run at the defence. But, in a very badly Portuguese accent.
No, it was
making some kind of comical face as he did it.
Reasonable. Yeah.
That was a Jose shrug. Did you notice that?
I think what annoys me about Ramirez is he tends to get the ball in front of the goal a lot and has a shot.
Yes.
And you think, no!
A
large amount of money. Do you think he could practice the shots a bit?
Do you know what I was thinking? Because I have like weird random thoughts during games. Because you know you do, don't you? But my weird random thought during the game was Ramirez, you know, in 2 seasons running, scored the goal of the season. He scored the goal of the season 2 seasons running. So we know he can do it. What's happened to that Ramirez?
He does it when he doesn't have to think, like Kalou.
Yeah, he's a bit of a Kalou, isn't he? Don't get us on Kalou. Jonathan will go potty.
He scored a hat-trick the other day.
He did. Kalou, did he?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great...
he scored a hat-trick for us once, didn't he?
He scored a hat-trick for us once. Broke a goalie's arm in the process.
He did too. Did he get an extra point for that? I'd have given him one. Okay, you know, we talk about Hazard every week. I think let's not talk about Hazard anymore. Let's talk about an issue that's been plaguing me actually for the last few weeks, to be fair, and that is the fact that we are looking a bit tired. They definitely looked leggy in the first half. But I mean, and Jose was alluding to it all week, saying, "Oh, we got back from Galatasaray really late." I think they were on the sauce actually with the away boys because they looked like it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Darren. I'm going to ask you because you are a hard taskmaster. I know this. You know, are they genuinely tired? Or is that? I mean, you know, how could professional sportsmen be tired? That's what I'm saying. Have they got? Is that justifiable for them to be tired? Because they clearly look a bit tired. Oscar, for example.
Yeah, I think they are allowed to be tired once in a while. I think they're allowed to have an off game once in a while as well. Everyone said last week Hazard looked tired, but then he's played again in midweek in Turkey and against Fulham, and he looks back to his old self again. I think that we don't actually have as good a depth as I think we'd like to believe that we have.
Well, that's my next question. If they are looking tired, and we accept that actually footballers can be tired. Then what? I mean, I looked at the bench yesterday, and you know, Willian had played in midweek, so he wasn't necessarily fresh. Who have we got to freshen it up?
We lost 4 squad players in January, and replaced them with 1.5 really. Like Matic is a first choice, and Salah, who wasn't trusted to be on the bench the other day, despite having the week off, unlike the rest of the team.
I don't think we'll be seeing him again.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's disappointed even in training. That's the impression I get. Cause
it is a bit weird.
He made a statement about him saying that he's a young man and
he's not ready.
He's not ready. He made that statement. Yeah. And the fact that Schurrle suddenly was back in prominence, I think, is significant.
He's only a knock away from being on the bench, though, isn't he? Really. So I mean, I suspect he'll get a couple of games. But the point of effectively replacing De Bruyne and Mata with a guy who can't be trusted to be on the bench is kind of does increase the pressure on the other players.
We're not there yet, and Jose does keep saying it. He keeps saying we're not there.
I thought the Man City game in the Cup was also a completely exhausted performance. And he mentioned it as well because he said at the weekend that because it was West Brom at the week, it wasn't he? And he said the problem was that Man City had the game postponed, and so Chelsea had a game in the week, and I do think they look tired.
I think they do too. Listen, we got 4 minutes left, and I really do want to speak about this because it really did. It made me hoot with laughter. You'll not be surprised that, as it's me who chooses the nominations for the salary moment, that this is going to get a shout. But Jose Mourinho, there were so many things that he did that made me laugh. There's a great picture of him. You know, I'm going to do the podcast. Actually, that reminds me of doing the podcast last year whenever Rafa was mentioned, I think I had a face like that. But, I mean, there are two things that really tickled me pink. One was caught by the... Because I only watched it on TV, I'm afraid, but they caught it beautifully. But basically, in the first half, Torres was either being lazy or dozy or both, and Mourinho just went absolutely ballistic at him, which really amused me. But he also had an absolute go at Schurrle for probably taking the most pathetic corner I've ever seen, when it barely reached the 18-yard line. I mean, it was just... So I thought Jose was already brewing up for one, but there's a lot of conjecture about what actually happened at half-time. He said, of course, that he walked in, he said nothing, and then walked out after 10 seconds and then was asking all the press what the Arsenal score was. Which I love the eye. That's very Brian Clough, just giving them the silent treatment. I mean, I would imagine he had a face of thunder. Schurrle then dishes it up in the post-match interview, saying that he did say something for 10 seconds, but it was unprintable or unbroadcastable. And then there's other people that have now said that he said, well, you got yourselves into the poo, you get yourselves out of it. And then he walked off, which is, again, I mean, whatever three you choose, I think they're all absolutely brilliant. Yeah?
Yeah, can't knock it.
Which do you think it was?
I don't think he could have been totally silent. I think there was something in there, but beyond that, I don't know.
It was the middle one.
The middle one.
There were more expletives involved. But I think the gist of it was poo.
Poo.
Poo and Rabona.
You have played like poo.
Yeah. I want to see
you make me want to have a poo.
I want to see a few Rabonas this half.
If I don't see a Rabona, I'm going to stick you in the poo. I don't know. There's so many variations.
Whatever it was, it had an effect.
It did, didn't it? Benches. What do you reckon he did? What, you know, did he give him the silent treatment, or did he have a right on go for a very short space of time?
Well, that's only for us to guess. But I have asked the question to the people listening.
What do they reckon?
Reverend Basinga reckons that it was good practice for JT to be the Chelsea manager. Zola Hazard 25 said maybe we should try keeping the ball this half, lads, was said. And Rob Dold thinks that Bill Blood probably gave the talk at half time.
That was, so instead of unprintable, it was unintelligible, if that was the case. And actually, you just mentioned somebody there, the Reverend Boswinger. Yes, apparently. Camera back on me, please. Exactly, thank you. Reverend Boswinger, I am very, very sorry that we coated you off completely last week. It was very mean of me, and mostly Darren, to have done that, and I am very, very sorry, and I hope that you forgive me. That's our apology, is that all right?
And we never clarified it with me first. You didn't ghostwrite it on my behalf either. I don't agree with it.
Darren doesn't apologise. Darren stands by every word he said. I apologise, because I have humility.
There is an element of humility.
There is.
What does coach it off mean?
I gave him a right slagging.
Rollicking. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
He was moaning about the sound quality, as always, and then said something very rude about me, and I, as I always do, rose to the occasion. I rose to the occasion like a Rabona, actually, Jonathan.
Deserved.
What is?
The
slagging I gave the Reverend Boswinger?
No, the other way around. If he
quite. But let's not get into that again. I've already apologised. So there we go.
No, I'm on your side.
You're on my side.
Yeah,
are you sure?
I'm saying, yeah.
Good.
You
I like it. Hey, Jonathan, we tight? We tight? In it. Lovely.
One more.
Yeah. Great stuff. I'm loving this. I'm really enjoying it tonight. OK, we've got to go for a break, I'm being told, just as we were having a lovely love-in. But we will be back after the break, and we will be talking fannies.